Welcome back to The Boys in the Iceberg, the podcast where we watch The Legend of Korra. As always, I'm Caleb Bader.
And I'm Harley Davis.
And we watched another 2 episodes this week.
Yeah,
so you know what that means. We're going to talk about them.
I like that, actually. No, it feels good.
Yeah, no, I think it's better than whatever I would have said otherwise.
A little bit of a change, but I like it. I can dig it.
Yeah. Harley, why don't you start us just right off with an overview? Or should we talk a little bit about them before we actually get into them?
Talk about what, the episodes?
Talk about how long it has taken us
okay.
to actually record this episode.
This is our second day in the studio, guys, for these 2 episodes. We thought we were going to like Korra. We're still in the mindset that we're going to like Korra.
I mean, I still like it.
But these episodes were not good.
I wouldn't say they're not good. They're forgettable, and I don't care about them. So I guess you could say they're not good in that regard.
So I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys the overview for the first episode. Here we go. After the pro-bending arena closes following Amon's attack, Mako and Bolin are invited to stay in Asami's mansion. While spending time there, Korra begins to suspect that Hiroshi Sato is working for the Equalists. As the metal-bending police force investigates the claims, they discover stunning secrets.
What stunning secrets?
That Hiroshi Sato is a bad dude.
Oh, yeah, I already forgot about that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I didn't actually forget. I have a memory like an elephant, like a 3-ton African elephant. Are they the big ones?
Yeah, the African elephants are the big ones.
The Asian elephants are the small ones.
Yeah, the
only
reason why I know that is because
Indiana Jones.
I just played
Temple of Doom.
Uncharted: The Lost.
Oh yeah, there are some
Yeah.
like Asian elephants.
And you rescue an elephant, and she's like, "Is it just me, or are elephants smaller?" And
Does
then-
she sound like that?
No, because Chloe sounds like a.
You need to
awesome
make it a
character.
little bit more British.
I
Or-
can't.
is she?
She's
okay,
Australian.
So, Chloe?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, because at the beginning they give her a little backstory with her father, and
I think she's
she
literally
says
Indian.
They dropped us off in Australia, and okay, so the accent's from Australia. So they dropped us off in Australia when she was a little girl.
I
and
think she
goes,
has
so that
a-
explains the Australian accent.
Does she have a? I never thought that was an Australian
Neither did
accent.
I. It felt British.
It sounds like British colonization of India.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
So I don't know. But I mean, why are we talking about this?
That's neither here nor there.
That's the podcast that we should make. Neither here nor there.
You think it's already taken?
Probably, yeah.
Oh man,
There are so
every
many
podcast
podcasts.
name we come up with is taken.
So many podcasts. We're working on another one. It's coming down the line here pretty soon, but
It's at the end of the line. It's
definitely not. It's got a ways to go.
It's in post production right now.
Well, yeah,
Guys,
I guess
it's
okay.
it's
so,
nameless and we don't know what it's about. But get psyched, guys.
So, yeah. So, they make me dislike Bolin in this episode for a split second, and then I'm back to liking him.
And why is that, Caleb?
But I never liked the scene where, I can say I never liked the scene because I've seen this episode 4 times now in a row. But they go and live with Asami because they don't have a place to stay anymore, right?
Yeah. Okay. That there's the reason that we got to that we never got into the last episode. The arena was destroyed.
Yeah,
And that's how they're making their money is through the game of pro bending.
and we also
And
think
that
they
was-
might be living in like a room in the arena.
They are.
Yeah, okay.
We think that's their agreement with the owner is that you pro bend and the money they get from pro bending goes directly to rent, and that's why they live there, basically just as long as you pro bend. And so the pro bending's out, so they no longer have any money to live in the rooms, so they get kicked out and they go to live with Asami, even though Korra gives them the invitation to live on
Airbender Island.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter what it's called.
Air Tenzin Island.
Yeah, so Korra goes over there at Asami's behest. No, it's behest, right? Yeah. So Korra goes over there, and we see Bolin and Mako and Asami like in the pool having a gay old time.
Ye old English version.
No, that was a pun.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, just thought I'd throw that in there. Yeah, but Bolin is being a real jerk to the servant.
Yeah, which we disagreed with that when we first watched it. That Bolin came from, we will say, humble beginnings.
Very humble beginnings.
So
dirt poor.
I don't think this is how he would act in this
street
scenario.
rat.
I don't buy that. All right, a little Disney humor for you.
Yeah. But yeah, their parents died and they were orphans very young, and they lived on the street. And now he's like living a semblance of the high life or whatever, and he's gonna be mean to the servants.
Yeah,
That's not how that
he makes
works.
the one servant that's there brush or get his towel and then dry him off and then dry Pabu off and then immediately jumps back into the water.
And you see the anguish on this servant's face.
Nice work.
He works. Okay, he works all day, wiping things off all over this mansion. Like there's a lot of space to wipe off, so he has to wipe everything off, and his fingers are gnarled down to the bone. He barely has any flesh left on them because they're rubbed raw from just wiping things down all day. And then Bolin comes over and he says, "Please wipe me off. I beg of you." And this guy's like, "This is my duty. This is my one goal in life. I shall do as you request." And he walks over there and the servant wipes him off. And then he says, "Don't forget Master Pabu." And the servant in his mind is like, "How could I forget Master Pabu? How could I forget Master Pabu?" And then he wipes Pabu off. And Pabu's all cute and he like fluffs up or whatever. And then Bolin says, "Thank you, kind sir." And the guy is like, "I've done good work today. This is why I came into this line of work.
I have pleased my ancestors."
And he turns around and he goes to walk off thinking in his mind, "I've done a good job today." And then Bolin jumps back in the pool and he's going to have to wipe him off again. How dare he? First of all, how dare he do that to this servant? It's not loud enough. It won't show up on the podcast.
That was so much deeper than I thought you were going to get into it.
No.
I thought it was just you were mad at him
I
for
saw
being
the
a
look
dick.
on his face. And I'm not going to stand for that. You don't get to treat servants like that.
You gotta stand for something.
It's a noble profession.
Or you can fall for something.
Fall for anything if you
Something
stand
like
for
that.
something.
Something like that.
Or yeah.
Let's dive into this.
I mean that's all I had on that episode.
That's it?
Then they go race some cars.
Oh yeah, that was dumb.
I don't. I guess they're showing off that Asami knows how to drive because it is prescient later in the next episode.
She's the driver.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess she brings more to the show than what I thought.
And she's got the.
She
Well, okay,
does.
we can't. Okay, yeah, let's finish this episode first.
Okay.
So apparently, is it before or after they drive that Korra goes up and is like using the washroom? It's after.
It's after because Bolin has to pee.
Yeah. So
Why do I
Korra
remember
goes
that?
up and she goes to freshen up in the powder room, as a young lady would.
The ladies' powder room.
Yes, and there is actual powder in this powder room. It's like a classy establishment.
She
like that.
powders herself with the powder.
Mm-hmm. And she doesn't like it.
gets
She's
a-
probably never done that before.
She gets the whole room all powdery.
She's never worn makeup. You think?
I don't think so.
Probably not. Makeup wasn't even around in the last show. Well, kind of. Yeah, it definitely was. But
Well, yeah, because what's her name? Katara did the weird thing.
oh yeah, with the terrible.
The lady in the water thing.
And
lady under the.
Oh
yeah, no,
yeah,
that
and-
episode.
Yeah,
too.
that's what you're thinking of. Yeah, but she doesn't like it, and she comes out and hears down the hall faint whisperings from a door not too far from her. And I think that so this is the part where I noticed it, and there's a couple different places, but I wanted to talk about it on the podcast. The backgrounds for the just the scenes, like this hallway shot. I always thought it was cool because it looks kind of like an oil painting. Like it's so much different stylistically than Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like I think that they've really done a good job at making like the landscapes and stuff stand out because they're drawn so much more differently than everything in the foreground, like the characters and stuff.
Now, I don't know much about artistry because I'm no Neil Caffrey, but I do like the what am I trying to say here?
I don't know.
I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
That's great
How-
content for the podcast.
I know. I'm at a lack of words here. I've used my brain up for other things.
Are you in awe? would you
No,
say?
I enjoy the artist's vision?
Style?
Style. Thank you. Style.
Okay.
I couldn't come up with the word style.
There
I enjoy
you
the
go.
style because it reminds me of like old Chinese paintings.
Yeah.
And I think
That's what it really looks
so. It's still sticking with somewhat, very subconsciously with the Asiatic culture
Yeah.
for very small and very small.
I think
substances.
it just really stands out as opposed to anything in
It's
Avatar:
neat.
The Last Airbender. It's
I
really
like it a
cool.
lot.
And there's a couple times with like temples or places they go to. I don't even know temples, but that's what it made me think of. They just go to some different places that just look really cool because of the style.
But anyways, yeah.
So she hears Korra walks out of the powder room and hears rumblings down the hallway from a door afar. and it's Mr. Sato.
Yeah, Hiroshi Sato, voiced by none other than Daniel Day Kim.
Daniel Day Kim.
Which you will know from Lost or Hawaii Five-0.
Yes. Probably Lost. Do you know his name is Shin in Hawaii Five-0?
Shin?
Or something like that. It's very close to Jin. Like it's...
Oh, I was just thinking like the body part, like the shin of the body part.
But it's like almost Jin. Like
okay.
He stays in Hawaii after Lost. And then he's like, they're like, okay, you can come in. We need this like Hawaiian character. We think you can play it. He's like, well, he's Hawaiian Korean, so we can work that in there. It's like, I'll only do it if you hardly change my name. A little bit, but only one letter or two letters. You can only replace one letter in my name, so you pick.
I'll accept that. I'll accept that. Yeah,
that's my headcanon for
headcanon
Hawaii
accepted,
Lost.
as they would say on the Tumblr verse.
Would they? I don't know.
They do. I spend too much time on Tumblr.
Okay, so yes, she hears Hiroshi Sato. It's amazing how little we've got in this one sentence that I've been trying to say. We have not progressed at all.
No.
But yeah, she hears Hiroshi Sato speaking on the phone about how he's going to strike. I don't even exactly remember the line.
He said something about the other company has fallen because we completely glossed over.
No, he didn't. That's not what Korra hears.
Oh, his enemy. His enemies of something, and it's now the right time to strike or something like that.
Yeah,
and we completely glossed over the fact that Cabbage Corp, which is apparently Hiroshi Sato of Future Industries, his main competitor, has now either been what is suggested being framed, or he's been wrongfully arrested, or he was actually in cahoots.
Oh, was that in this episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, they erased, or wasn't? Are you sure that wasn't in the last episode?
It was in the first episode.
Oh, that feels weird. It might be because we've already tried to record this, but yeah. So yeah, they go and bust up the metal bending police. Go and bust up a Cabbage Corp warehouse, and they find a whole bunch of Equalist stuff. Like
that's the beginning of the episode. That's how the episode starts. I'm pretty sure.
Because they're trying to crack down on the Equalists after the events of the last episode.
It's supposed to be
they
like,
blew up the Coliseum,
like a montage of them, actually doing their jobs.
Yeah, so they find Cabbage Corp has apparently been manufacturing all this stuff.
So this is where I'm confused, because we see Lin Beifong with that group.
Yes,
of the police, not the task force, the police, police officers. Thank you. We see them in that warehouse doing the little, my words are just gone. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so we see her.
Yes.
When they go to the warehouse, and she's with that police force, but she stepped down. Did she quit the police force altogether?
I think that she wanted to complete this one thing.
Okay, so I don't know. She's not working outside the law right now. She's just no longer the chief.
Yeah, I don't know.
Am I correctly assuming that, or am I incorrect to assume that?
I don't even remember.
She was with the group.
I'll take your word for it
because I pointed that out earlier. But now they have a new chief, Chief Saikon.
So they crack down on this Cabbage Corp thing, and then Korra hears Hiroshi Sato say, "My enemy is down. Now's the time to strike." So she's like, "Oh, he's working with the Equalists. He's like a big bad dude." And so she goes and she talks to Asami, and Asami is all like,
"I don't believe this."
Because why would you believe that? Like, your father's a bad guy?
Yeah, I want to dissect what you just said.
What did I just say?
You said that what she heard through the keyhole, that my enemy's down, it's time to strike. We're paraphrasing this a lot.
I have no clue what the actual line is.
But he does say something to that likes. Why would she assume? Because the only person that actually was down was the Cabbage Corp guy. Okay?
Yeah.
And if the Cabbage Corp guy was aligned with the Equalist, and in her mind, if Cabbage Corp is the...
She doesn't...
Hold on. If Cabbage Corp is the enemy of the Hiroshi Sato...
She's not putting that together.
Okay, so she's not putting that together. Because
the
point I'm trying to make here is if Cabbage Corp was the enemy of Hiroshi Sato, and she thinks that Hiroshi Sato is saying his enemy is down, it's time to strike, then why would she assume he's part of the Equalists if Cabbage Corp was part of the Equalists?
Okay, so they just, there was a major terrorist attack. So that's what's in her mind. Like, oh, my enemy's down now because everyone's, all frantic and stuff because we just blew up their pro-bending arena.
Okay, so she's saying in her mind that he thinks that
in her mind, he's saying, "Okay, we've got him where we want him. Let's go kill him."
And them is the people with the pro-bending arena, like the civilians, like Cora and those guys.
No, like Benders.
Okay, benders in general.
Because I mean, she's still kind of freaked out about Amon, so she's not really thinking this through. She's like, "Oh, that's a weird thing for him to say."
I mean, it comes to
and it's probably phrased a little bit more.
It leads to some good things in the end because she's not wrong.
No,
she just didn't know she wasn't wrong.
Yeah, so she goes and talks to Asami and them, and Mako's like, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah, Mako's upset because she's taking Asami's side, because it's what you do when you have a girlfriend. You automatically try to assume that her husband or her father is not evil.
I mean, yeah, I never really ran into
You know what it's like having a relationship.
One of your friends comes and says, "Hey, her father's like totally an evil guy."
Like, no, he's not. He's
a
great dude.
You have to look past it.
I had dinner with him yesterday.
Yeah, and that's what happens if you're like dating Azula.
I've never had dinner with any of my ex-girlfriend's fathers.
Just alone?
No,
just
like
you and
like all together. Like, have you ever had like been to a girlfriend's house and you just eaten with like their family? Like I've eaten probably with all their moms and
yes,
like
I have.
Their stepdads and like them like at the same time, like a family dinner.
Okay, yeah.
But I've never been with like her and like her dad at the same time.
Just her and her dad.
That's
like a weird dinner.
I guess. Okay, now I guess I'm pointing out that most of my girlfriends' families were separated.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Weird.
Why don't we delve into that? Sigmund Freud.
I like women with daddy issues.
Yeah. Okay, what were we even talking about?
No clue.
Cora goes and gets Tenzin and the chick.
Lin
Beifong.
I love her.
And, goes and confronts. I guess she's still with the police force.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. I don't.
At that point.
I'm
well, even
confused.
at that point. Maybe she is operating outside of the law.
Because the last episode we got of her was when she was wounded, and she's like, "I'm stepping down as police force. I'm going to work outside the law.
I'm going to turn in my resignation in the morning." That's how she sounds. I'm going to turn in my resignation in the morning.
She's just... That's awesome. I love it. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Hey, my head can't be accepted.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know what she's still doing, if she is working outside the law at this point, because she does say that she's going to take her men with her. The men that are still loyal to her, at least.
So maybe they're just going on raids.
They're
outside
a
of the
rogue
law.
splinter group of the metal bending police force, and they're going to kick butt and take names, and they're all out of names. Is that? I don't know. That doesn't even make sense. But
just smashed a bunch of quotes together.
They're here to kick butt and take names, and they're all out of butts.
I've got nothing to add to that.
Yeah, no, there's nothing that needs to be said.
All right, so
I think it speaks for itself.
As she confronts Tenzin and Korra, that was just my lock screen. My bad.
You don't need to address it.
Yeah, I don't. She gets a letter in her hand from a very shifty individual who was just locking up from Hiroshi Sato's place.
Hiroshi Sato, he explains, "Hey, I was talking about Cabbage Corp. They're my number one competitor for like general goods and stuff. So that's who I was talking about. It's not anything nefarious. It totally is, but that's what he explains."
Yeah, so Korra doesn't believe that, so that's why she goes to Lin and Linzen.
If they were getting married and were
like a Brangelina thing.
Yeah,
sad face.
Was it Brangelina or Brangelina?
Brangelina.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
that sounds weird,
doesn't it?
Brangelina. I think it's Brangelina.
I think it's I always said Brangelina.
I think it's Angela Bratt. Angelad. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. But anyway,
I wasn't alive.
So they've been together for Okay. So they get Korra gets a letter in the palm of her hand by some weird creep, like he just shiftily passes it to her. And it says, "Meet me under the bridge at midnight. Come alone."
I'm going to say something that you're going to think is very funny, but is actually historically significant. He's a veritable deep throat of sorts.
I don't know what that means.
There was a famous informant in the 1960s that went by the moniker Deep Throat, which is...
That's a terrible moniker.
Well, not at the time. It was the 1960s.
That's fair.
I don't know.
You're telling me nobody's ever done that in the 60s?
It wasn't. I don't think it was called that.
That's fair. People have.
I don't know. Maybe he is the impetus.
I don't know what that means either, Caleb.
For the gnomer.
Caleb's throwing out a lot of challenging vocabulary here, folks, and I'm just too dumb to understand.
Yeah, so they meet an informant, because that's what he is. And he's a real cool cat.
I love
real scad dude.
This whole scene.
It's super cool. It's like, it reminds me of there's a book called BioShock Rapture that I read once. based on the BioShock series. And it reminded
They
me.
made a book for that.
Yeah, it's a pretty good book too. I listened to it.
Is
on
that the only video game
Audible.
book you ever read? The Halo books are pretty good.
No, I never read the Halo.
I know
books.
Callan let me borrow a couple of those. They're pretty good.
But in this BioShock Rapture book, there's another shifty character who's sort of an informant of sorts, and he like changes his identity, and that's what it makes me think of. Just like it's almost the same era too. Or when was BioShock? It's the 20s.
The 20s.
Yeah,
It's like it's a very steampunk 20s. So
they should do a BioShock Korra crossover.
I was
that would be
just
pretty
thinking
cool.
that. We should.
Let's write it. Comic book.
Let's do the fan fiction minus the smut. For some reason, every time I think of fan fiction, I think of smut.
I don't think that all fan fiction is smut.
No, like I've been on Tumblr so much that every time they're like, "I love smut." Blah, blah.
Why don't you get off Tumblr?
I don't. know.
So they meet with this informant, and he's giving them some information on the Equalist, it's a secret warehouse or factory.
they're like, well, this is why we can't accuse Hiroshi Sato. He's like, well, there's another secret underground factory underneath his mansion, and they're like, and they go and investigate that.
And then for some reason, Korra goes and talks to Asami.
Yeah, and again, she doesn't believe it,
and she talks to Mako and Bolin. It's like, no, leave them out of this. Go raid the house and then prove them wrong.
Yeah, I would never.
So they
get your emotions out of it, Korra.
They go there, and Asami's like, well, my dad definitely wouldn't have a secret tunnel. And then they open up the secret tunnel, which I know you wanted to talk about.
Yes. Okay, so we get a little bit of what Toph can do with her. What is that, like sonar thing?
Yeah, with her feet.
What is that called?
Seeing with her feet.
Yeah, seismic.
Yeah.
Whatever, waves. So she gets to do that with her feet, but it's really cool so she's constantly barefoot. She just has metal armor all the way around her, and then she just slides back the sole of her foot. It's almost a blink if you miss it thing.
Well, she's not really barefoot. She's got technically shoes on.
She's like wearing socks.
They're just made out of metal.
Super uncomfortable.
Probably. But I mean, if you can bend metal, you can bend it.
And her feet are like
you could bend it exactly to your feet.
You're not wrong.
And like when she's walking it, you don't know. It could be like fluid.
That'd be cool.
That would be pretty cool.
That's what you brought up. You asked if she was a earthbender too, or if she just strictly.
Yeah, because have we seen her earthbend at all? She just does metal bending.
I don't want to speculate because I feel like I remember her metal or earthbending at one point in time.
I don't know if she has.
Not yet.
No, yeah, she definitely hasn't.
From previous viewings of the whole series is what I'm talking about.
Oh.
But that's not spoiler.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That's not spoiler territory. I feel like she earthbends at one point in time in the show.
Maybe. But for right now, she's not an earthbender. She just came out metal bending.
So do you think like sandbenders, like that's a sub earthbending?
I don't know. I think
like Toph couldn't do it really well.
I think it has to like mud. If you bend mud, that's not. And Toph, so that's just a little bit different thing. Toph couldn't see very well. She picked up sandbending pretty quickly.
It's just because it was all grainy and flying everywhere. That's why she couldn't lock on.
Well, I don't know, but I just know that when they were out on the sand, she was having trouble seeing because she. I
think
it
was because
feet.
It was shifty. I think
yeah,
that's why.
So she might have just been taken back because she does pick up on sandbending pretty easily. We see her do that sandcastle.
Oh yeah,
in that one
I
episode.
Forgot about that.
Hey, let's just talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
There's an idea. Okay, so moving on from that, we get a scene where they go down to the little factory underground and they stop. It's Mako, Bolin, Team Avatar. Team Avatar standing there, and Lin, Beifong, and Tenzin say, "Hey, listen, we're going to go down here with Korra. You guys got to stay here." So Mako, Bolin, and Sami are standing back with another one of the police red shirts, and they're hanging about. And this is what I want to talk about.
They're going to go down there.
Yeah, they're going to go down there. That's why they keep on flashing back to their scene. And this is another thing we get with watered down abilities that were unique in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It wasn't unique.
It was impressive.
Okay.
Like they built up to it.
Yeah.
With Iroh. He said, "Do you know why they call me the Dragon of the West?" And then he breathed fire, and it was awesome.
Yeah, he invented it.
It was awesome.
But Azula did it too.
I don't think I'm a fan of that.
You're not a fan of Azula doing it?
No, I'm not a fan of Azula. No, I'm kidding. I'm not a fan of what they do with Korra. Like Mako just lightning bends out of nowhere. I realize that it evolves. Things evolve. But I don't like that it's just watered down now. Like it's not unique anymore. Like, there's no unique abilities.
There are totally unique abilities.
There's metal bending is all over the place. Lightning bending is all over the place. People are breathing fire out of their mouths. Nothing is unique. There's a whole group of chi blockers.
Yeah,
anybody can be a chi blocker now
because they were taught to do that.
I'm just
they set it up in Avatar. Ty Lee teaches the Kyoshi warriors.
Nothing
how to
is
chi
impressive anymore.
That's not true.
I think it is true. It's all dulled down compared to what it was in Avatar.
It's not. We do get a unique ability.
Tell me.
In the next episode, which you'll have to wait until we talk about that.
What unique ability?
I can't say yet because we got to talk about it in the next episode.
You can say it.
Moving on, the main group, Korra, Tenzin, and the chick.
Lin Beifong.
Lin Beifong. They go down into the secret laboratory or whatever it is, warehouse.
It's a secret tunnel.
Is it a factor? Is it a secret tunnel? Secret tunnel. I thought you were going to jump in. I was really hoping that you want to try that again. No. Come on. Okay, so just get ready. Secret. Okay, you just made me do it again. Okay, anyway, moving on. They go down into the factory, and they're like, "What's going on here?" There's like these giant mechs. What is that?
Yeah, there's there's big daddies down there.
Yeah. And they do remind, you brought this up one time, it reminded you of Atlantis when they were like taking the lift down.
Yeah.
I think it reminds me more of Atlantis, like the ships. Those mechs, like the face on them, looks like those ships.
So not like on their journey to it. Atlantis Lost Empire by Disney
Yes.
guys to the animated movie. So you're not talking about I was talking about their trip to Atlantis, all the machines they use, and like the drill. You're talking about the actual ships they have at Atlantis.
Yes. That's what it makes me think
I can
of.
see that.
It does look a little bit reminiscent of that.
That movie, not as good as it once was.
It wasn't. Spoilers.
For what?
For not as good as it once was.
Oh yeah.
So they take off and they're looking at around this warehouse and there's a whole bunch of different stuff.
There's a lot of incriminating evidence against Hiroshi Sato at this point in time.
You're like, I think they probably have they do have banners of Amon hanging up. Which
as soon as they walk in, there's huge
don't
banners.
do that. You could just say, "Oh yeah, this is another product we're working on."
Yeah, we're gonna ship these to people.
That's when we were talking about this. Is the same thing with the Mechanist. He could have easily, and this is back to Avatar: The Last Airbender. He could have easily just played it off when Aang found like all his like workshop in the air temple. He could have just said, "Oh, this is just stuff I'm working on."
But he had the firebending.
But they put a firebending banner up. Like, come on, just make it green. Put an earthbending banner up or whatever. I don't know. Air. It really any other one than fire.
Thank you. I'm glad we
then Hiroshi Sato comes out, and he's like, "It was I all along."
'Twas I.
Yes. You thought it was not me, but it is me.
Yeah.
Daniel Day Kemp.
So they immediately commence to battling, and you got Lin and Korra and Tenzin, and they have a few. I keep calling these guys red shirts,
And they're fighting the mechs now because there's a whole bunch of people. Hydra Bob's there. I think does he get in the mech or
Hydra Bob is there?
Is he just fighting them?
He's in a mech.
So they've got like these mechs that can just shock you and shoot out. They have like their own metal bending basically because they've got like claws.
Yeah, it's a good fight.
It really is.
The reason why I say it's a good fight is because you have what I call the red shirts. What a lot of people call the red shirts. They're just throwaway thugs, that are going to die or get beaten. And they actually put up a cool fight between the red shirts on Lin's side and the red shirts on Hiroshi's side because there's 3 or 4 mechs, I think.
Yeah.
And so Hiroshi and Hydra Bob.
I think there's only 3.
3 of them.
I think. Are you sure Hydra Bob's in a mech?
He is. I'm pretty sure.
I thought that there was one guy.
No, because remember Lin.
Maybe I'm thinking
Lin
of the
pulls
next
out those
episode.
Baraka swords and jumps on and starts stabbing the face of the mech.
Those are really cool too.
Yeah. So Lin has Baraka swords. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Mortal Kombat. She pulls them out of nowhere. That's awesome.
She metal bends them.
So do you think there's multiple layers of metal in her? Like,
well, she could just take her armor.
Well, her armor doesn't move.
But
like,
she
do you
could
think
just.
there's do you think there's an outside layer of armor, then inside there's
she
metal
could take those
in that?
cords that she usually does and just make it into.
That's true.
Yeah.
So do you think that's just like a layer of metal in there, and she just turns it into whatever she wants?
There
to
might
turn it
be, but they have the things on their back so they can like. Why do they even need those?
I don't
they
know.
don't really. Maybe just so they don't have to waste so much effort.
What things? What are you talking about?
Like they have like the I don't even know what you call those.
Screaming sticks?
No,
what are you talking about? What are they?
There's like a harness on their back that has like a like when you pull a cord or like I'm thinking of like a projector screen.
Okay.
When you pull it down and it sort of zips back up into it, they have those on their back, and that's where the metal comes out. So I think it's actually coiled up wire.
Okay.
But she could do whatever she wants with that wire.
Like the Attack on Titan things.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you.
But yeah, it's a really cool fight scene because everybody
both sides are actually formidable.
Yeah, and everybody feels like they're doing something different than like literally everyone has a different style.
Yeah, we saw that when they first attacked because you have the three main good guys. You have Lan, Korra, and Tenzin. They're all standing next to each other, and then Hiroshi shoots out his his
that's
arms,
really cool.
and you get all three of them dodging that metal cable in their own respective. I would say in Korra's case, original bending styles.
Yeah, it's super cool way they did it.
It's pretty neat. I wish if you don't watch this show, guys, and you're just listening to our podcast, watch this show. If not, just for the choreography.
Oh, so you're coming around the choreography, are you?
It's the Little Small's attention to Brian Konietzko, however you pronounce that. And no offense, sorry. And Michael Dante DiMartino are really good at paying attention to small details. Attention to detail,
especially in this show, even more so than Avatar.
Yes,
I would say
something that always gets me because we were talking about Tarlok in the next episode. This is not spoiler territory. We're talking about Tarlok in the next episode.
Spoiler.
And he has braids, 3 little braids that come down, and they have three different ties on each braid.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 9 different ties on each braid. I'm getting too much into hair, but you see the back of his head twice in that episode, and they're the same setup both times. I thought they were different when we watched it the second time, but no, it's the same setup.
Well, you also thought he had 4
ponytails. So I wasn't paying attention, but so I would not be good at attention to detail. But attention to detail always gets me. Sometimes more invested in a show. Sometimes if I don't know, it could.
But they're fighting these mechs, and these mechs have they can shoot out claws that are on wire.
Mm-hmm.
Like their own kind of metal bending. I don't think they can manipulate them. But then they can also electrocute through those wires.
And that's how they take down the red shirts on Lynn's side.
And that's what brings me... So these metal benders, they're earthbenders, right? We can assume that, even though we haven't seen it.
I would say that since metal bending is a stronger force than earth bending, I would say that they're just trained in.
Why don't they just create earth suits? This is just like what Toph did. She just put herself in an earth armor. Oh. That way you can't electrocute things through rock.
Well, they didn't know there's electrocution there.
They saw it when it happened. Maybe the first
guy... Oh, you're
guy,
saying after that,
yeah, the first guy gets taken out, and then they're hey. Metal armor, not very a good thing to be fighting these people in. I'm going to go earth armor for a little bit.
That can make sense.
But I don't know why they don't do that. It's just you're completely
as Sam Jackson says in Avengers, have you ever been in a firefight?
No, but still.
Then STFU, bro.
No, I can still say, hey.
You totally can.
You remember that cool thing called an earth suit? I'm just going to wear that and not get electrocuted.
Remember when we watched highlights from Avatar in basic training for the police academy? Yeah, I think we should definitely do what
earth
Toph
suits.
Did. Earth suits for everyone.
Everybody put on their earth suits. But yeah, I don't think that's... And Toph was she led the police force for many years.
Yeah, she did. Okay, that's fair.
So, I mean, I just don't get... They just wouldn't be electrocuted. That's the problem I have with it. But it's a really cool fight.
The choreography's good, and I wanted to get into the score. I don't know what it is about scores that are somber that you get this big, huge fight. Like we got that huge fight.
Zuko and Azula's, which is the same
the
sort
Zuka and Azula and Zuka and Azula. That fight at the end of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it's very somber, and it's you're seeing one of your characters, be defeated, but it's not overpowering, because you've grown with this character, you've watched this character grow. I would say you've grown with this character, but you've watched this character grow.
Well, I mean, we kind of did,
but I love somber scores in a huge fight.
I didn't like the way they did it.
They contrast it a lot.
Zuko and Azula's fight.
That's fair.
I do. I always like slow motion when it slows down and you get a close up on the face and you can see the effort they're putting into the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then it might speed up a little bit, it might not, but they're and that's usually the point where they're losing, is when you get the somber music and it looks like all hope's lost.
Yeah, but
makes you feel
it's
hopeless.
The whole fight, and then you get what you wanted to point out, the little unicycle thing that Tenzin does. With his airbending.
Yeah. So there's some really cool stuff. We're
gonna dive into this fight. This fight's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't remember hardly any of it, but I do remember Tenzin does his version of Aang's ball of air. What did Aang call it?
I don't know. But instead of just a small spherical ball around underneath Aang,
this is a wheel that goes around Tenzin.
Yeah,
and that's how he propels himself. I think it's cooler.
It's pretty cool
because you don't have to go into I don't even what's a squat,
something like that.
You don't have to sit Indian style, if that's not too offensive. and just float on top of this ball. He's just like he's moving and grooving. I would say really
moving and grooving.
I mean,
that's the name of the.
In
move,
my
actually.
opinion, he's moving and grooving.
That's fair.
That's the name of the move. The move and groove.
It's the move and groove. But no, and then so this is what I like about this fight is that the characters, even for a brief second, we see Tenzin save Korra, and Korra gets smashed into this pipe, and she's like I don't know. 6 feet in the air probably when she falls.
Probably higher than that.
A little bit higher, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
But so Tenzin yells Korra and then gives her a cushion of air underneath her, and then she falls. So what I'm seeing is that we've gone from Avatar, where people can get pushed from huge heights like that. I wouldn't say huge, but like taller than a person, heights like that, and falling and not being hurt, just being kind of winded for a second. You're seeing now in this show that they're like, hey,
there's some
in real life, that would hurt.
Yeah.
So
there's peril.
There's stakes. Yeah, what you say, there's stakes in this show, and I like that a lot.
And there are steaks.
Like T-bone steak, like rare.
The airbenders don't eat them, but Korra is very into them. They're like I don't know, what's the cow? Do they have a subspecies of cow in the show?
They do. Remember hippo cow.
It's a hippo cow. They're hippo cow steaks.
They're really ugly.
Oh, yeah, because it's like that the wide-mouthed cow.
The babies.
That's what
cute,
I like
though.
to call them, wide-mouthed cows.
Wide-mouthed cows.
But yeah, so Korra falls down, and she's knocked out. Like, she's out cold.
Yeah, and so we get now Tenzin's been knocked out because Sato shoots this like bola kind of electrical bola thing at him, and then
that wraps around him.
Yeah, and then what's her name? Lynn gets knocked out. The chick
I can't remember.
Gets knocked out from something I can't remember. So they're all down, and Sato escapes.
And I don't know. He hasn't left yet. Because they're like standing around like,
oh no,
we won.
Asami shows up.
Well,
yes, because Mako and Bolin show up.
Oh yeah, so Mako. Okay, and I wanted to talk about this
This
too.
is pretty cool too. Yeah.
Bolin is like Is he tunneling?
Probably
underneath. Probably. So he's using his earthbending to tunnel. And where does the earth go? Does he move it?
We talked about.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But
he compacts it to the side.
He at one point comes up through the ground, and he basically like lifts a manhole cover of earth up and off, and then moves out of the way. I just thought it was really cool how they made that look. He didn't like bend like what we would have seen in Avatar was a like thing of rock shooting up into the air.
Yeah,
but he just sort of lifts it off and moves out of the way and just does it stealthily, which is super cool.
So Mako and Bolin show up, obviously,
and they tried to take Korra, Tenzin, and Lynn. They leave the other guys because who cares about them? But
that's so funny.
So they try to take him. They immediately get caught. They're not getting out of there.
But then Asami shows up to save the day,
and she's
I
like,
still hate Asami.
"Father, why have you done this?
Why have you forsaken me?"
That's exactly how she sounds like.
That was actually a sound clip we got from the show.
Yeah, but she's like, "Dad, what's going on here? You
Dad?
working with the Equalist?" And then, that's Lynn's voice.
Dad,
that's Lin Beifong.
No, I was just thinking from the play.
Dad, I don't even remember that.
No, that was our scene.
Yeah, I remember that now. But
anyways,
okay. So Asami's like, "Dad, what are you doing? You kind of work with Amon now? You got these posters hanging up all over the place. I think you're working with Amon. Why?"
And he tells her. We get into a little backstory
because
they glossed over. They glossed over it a little bit.
Her mother was killed by a firebender. So that classic trope. Some person of a race, a group, or something else kills your significant other, and you
that's
just hate
all
everyone.
they see. They see that a person of that
creed, the race.
I was trying to say race.
The race, the creed, the color,
and that's all they see, and they're like, okay, so I hate all of them now.
Yeah.
Which in this case, it's benders.
Kill everybody.
Or firebenders.
Yeah.
Even. So it went from firebenders to all benders now, so he's just all over the place.
What's really funny is she was dating a firebender.
A street rat.
And that was the worst part for Hiroshi Sato, was watching my daughter kiss a street rat firebender like you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't buy that.
What do you mean you don't buy that? That's what he said.
I know.
That's almost literally what he said.
But,
I took some liberties.
No, you did. So, but this is what I was the point I made during the show is, from our point of view, we're made to show that Amon is the bad guy, which he is.
He's definitely bad.
He's a radical for sure. But from Sato's point of view, which is, this very respectable individual who is, the founder of Future Industries, from his point of view, Amon is the good guy.
Yeah.
And that you were saying something about
Stalin.
In real life, yeah, like people like Stalin, he actually has a supporter, 100% supporters
Because
that support his view and his ideals.
You know, it's the whole class warfare thing they're trying to play. People are oppressing you, man. You got to rise up against the man.
But people actually agree with those people. Like,
yeah, because
they
think they're the victims.
Yeah, historically,
which technically his wife was killed by a fighter, so he was victimized. But
at one point
that's against the point.
The point
Besides the point is what I meant to say.
The point I'm trying to make here is that
not concurrent with the point.
Thank you very much. I'm glad we have said that multiple ways now. So you see that people like Amon are the bad guys, and you can see that after this is all said and done, history will show that Amon is the bad guy. No matter what you see,
He's on the wrong side of history.
He's on the wrong side of history. I don't know what that is. That a song or something?
I don't know.
Is that a saying?
Yeah, the wrong side of history.
The wrong side of hell, but
if you don't support gay marriage, you're on the wrong side of history, man.
Is that really a thing?
That's what they say.
I don't know. I forgot.
History's not going to look well on you, man.
Anyways, it's very Empire Strikes Back, and the gang gets away, and Sato's still on the lam.
Because Asami, okay, so Sato goes like, "Hey, Asami, your mother was killed too. I mean, you're just as much a victim as I am. Take this equalist shot glove and join me,
and together we can rule the galaxy."
No Star Wars.
Father and son.
Well, daughter and father and daughter.
Daughter and son.
What?
Daughter and uncle.
No, that's her father.
Father and son.
Yeah, let's just stick with that. Why change it? But she's like, yeah, okay, I guess so. And Mako's like, no.
Classic James Earl Jones.
And she's like, okay, I guess I have no choice. And she puts on the glove. And then you see it on Mako's face like, oh, she's going to like want to kill me now. She's going to take away my bending. Yeah. But then she just shocks the crap out of her father.
She says,
Oh, yeah, she does.
And then shocks him. And then she beats up Hydra Bob.
She does.
Okay,
so apparently they tried to set it up earlier in the episode. I'm not buying it. That she's had multiple self-defense classes.
Since she was this high. Can you guys see this in the podcast? This high.
They can't.
She was this high. I hate that line for some reason. I don't know why.
This high? Did she
Since
say
she
that?
was this high. Yeah, she says that.
Yeah.
I've had defense classes.
They just don't want to say since I was 5.
This high.
They want to come up with a more clever way.
Like this high.
Yes.
Like this is the best way to say it, this high. If you guys didn't catch the 13.
So yeah, apparently she's pretty good in a fight. So good that she can beat a trained chi blocker like Hydra Bob.
Yeah, Hydra Bob lost to Mako and Bolin, or won to Mako, Bolin, and Korra.
Yeah.
But Asami can whoop him in 2 kicks.
Which I guess she's not a bender, so it kind of makes sense.
I don't dig it.
But yeah, is that the end of the episode?
Yeah, and then the gang runs away, and Sato's still in the lamb.
Oh yeah, because Sato. Okay, so they end up getting out of there, but only because they have to let Sato go. So they're able to save everybody, but in the process, Sato escapes.
Yes,
right?
I forgot that happened, but yeah.
Okay, let's get into some trivia for this episode.
Trivia!
Is that...
That's
okay.
New trivia answer.
New trivia theme.
Intro.
The push daggers that came out of Lin Beifong's arms,
the Baraka swords,
are similar to an Indian weapon known as the Katar.
I will not accept it unless it says that it is directly connected to the Mortal Kombat character Baraka.
Oh, second piece of trivia. The push daggers that come out of Lin Beifong's arms are similar to Baraka.
Don't lie to me.
This is the second episode in a row where Ikki, Milo, and Jinora have not appeared. Think everything.
I hate Milo.
He's so bad. Ikki's fine. I can put up with Ikki.
She's just your annoying little girl.
Yeah.
But Milo is
awful. The bane of the show.
His whole character arc is just...
We'll get into that
poop jokes.
Next episode.
Poop jokes.
It's so bad.
Poop jokes. I hate them.
Yeah.
I will always hate them. I will never like them.
When Bolin jumps into Sato's pool, he exclaims, "Earthbending bomb," similar to Katara's waterbending bomb in the Serpent's Pass. I guess. I mean, I don't have any information to deny that.
I guess I've forgotten that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
This is the first time Mako and Bolin are shown to have committed a misdemeanor by assaulting a police officer. Oh, when he breathed fire at the police officer.
True. Okay, I can see that, yeah.
Great commentary. Like Zuko, Asami chooses to join the Avatar after denouncing her father's cruelty. Coincidentally, the way they both turn against their respective fathers involves lightning. Asami turns against her father using an electrified glove, while Zuko retaliated against his father with lightning redirection.
Don't.
They're one and the same character, Harley.
I
don't know how you can't see that.
I'm done with the show. I'm not coming back next week. No, that's another thing that they spent seasons building up for Zuko. And then for this, it's like 5 minutes. They're like, this is exactly the same.
Yeah, they are. They're exactly the same character. But that's all the trivia. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hey, all you ladies and gents out there. Why don't you find your way on down to Cabbage Corp this week, where you can get 50% off all green cabbages. I know what you're thinking. Cabbage Man, I can only get cabbages at Cabbage Corp.
Well, you're right. And when you're right, you're right. So come on down now and get a green cabbage or a purple cabbage or even an orange cabbage.
We have just received word that Cabbage Corp has been closed due to a bad business model
of selling strictly cabbages. Sorry for the inconvenience, folks. Goodbye.
And we're back. Hey, that was not a bad like Chicago accent.
Have you ever been to Chicago?
Yeah.
How many times? If it's less than twice, you can't even be a fan.
No, for what? The Bears
of Chicago.
No, I've been there more than twice.
Have you really been to Chicago?
Yeah, I went there to watch AC/DC at Wrigley Field.
Oh, right.
And
the one concert you didn't invite me to that year.
No, I went to a couple. That was the next year even.
I don't know.
Yeah. That was that the beginning of this year, or was that the beginning of last year?
That's been a minute.
I don't know. I don't even remember. But
I've been there one time for a soccer
yeah,
game.
We're back. Everybody. Are we leaving that in?
For sure, yeah.
Okay. Harley, next episode.
When extremes meet. After Saikon's appointment as the chief of the metal bending police force, Tarlok exercises his increased control over the city. As Mako, Korra, Bolin, and Asami form the new Team Avatar, they interfere with the councilman, Tarlok, and his goals, prompting him to retaliate against them. Boom, boom, boom.
Thank you very much for that, Harley. Okay, a little too much. Yeah, so this episode starts off with a yet again homeless Mako and Bolin. And now Asami. Asami's homeless. She's been the rich girl her entire life.
She's a rich girl. That's a song, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Is it Elton John?
No. Is it? I'm thinking of Uptown Girl.
No. She's a...
Yeah.
She's a...
her daddy's money.
No.
What's that then?
Daddy's money.
No,
mama's good looks.
That's definitely not the one. And look who's looking at me.
It's not a different song again.
Yeah, no. Probably.
It is. Because she's a rich girl.
That's not... I don't care. Do not look it up.
I'm not looking it up. Am I looking it up? No, I'm not. I'm still on the Wikipedia.
Okay, yeah. So Asami is homeless now.
Do you think she still has her father's funds in her bank account, though?
Oh, well, she can get her father's car.
Because, yeah, she still has access to that.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Where'd
probably
she pull
still...
that out of?
A garage.
A gay rage?
A garage. How did the British say it? A garage.
A garage.
I think it's garage.
A gay rage.
They don't say gay rage. A gay rage.
Commonly pronounced gay rage.
So, yes, she's. I would say she's probably cut off from the money. I don't know. Would the police freeze the assets or whatever?
So she's got no income whatsoever.
Yeah. So she's going to live with Avatar Korra on Airbender Island.
Yes,
and Air Temple Island.
Air Temple Island. When it's all three of them now, it's a tightly packed group now because you got Tenzin and his 3 children and Pema, and then you have the Air Acolytes. Which
we get to see the Acolytes.
Acolytes, man. Like what
more can be said? So let's just skip it.
Yes. So then we have the Team Avatar of 4 people and Pabu and Naga. So it's cramped spaces, man.
Yeah,
cramped spaces.
So apparently in this Air Temple, the girls and the boys are separated into 2 different wings.
Sexist.
I wonder what about Pema and Tenzin? Do they get their own room?
Just sex, not sexist.
But you didn't answer my question.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess you kind of did. But
I did in around a boot way.
Out in a boot. Oot in a boot.
So when you say oot in a boot?
Yeah, I know. But okay. So we get one of the funniest parts in the show so far.
No, the whole series altogether, it's the best part.
Yeah, well, so far.
No, altogether.
You think altogether?
All 4 seasons.
I'm not going to speak for the rest of it.
I'm gonna.
But we get Icky letting loose that Korra might have a thing for Mako.
Yeah,
To
she drops
Asami.
it. She drops it in front of Asami. She says, "Asami, did you know that Korra likes Mako?"
Pretty good Icky.
Yeah, thank you. You didn't. You think that was pretty good?
Yeah.
You think I should?
I think I'm not saying it doesn't need work.
You think
I'm saying that's a really good baseline.
You think I should travel west and perfect my voice acting?
No, I wouldn't do that. But I mean, it's pretty good.
You think I should travel east and perfect it?
No, if I were you, I wouldn't travel anywhere. I'd just stay where you're at. But it's pretty good, I'd say.
Thank you. It means a lot to me, Caleb. I might actually cry. It means so much to me.
If you cry, you're gonna make me cry.
It's okay.
I feel like we've done this bit on the podcast.
Have
before.
we?
Probably.
Oh,
who knows?
broke
It's been
the
a long
bit.
time now.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. So we get that's basically the first part of the episode is just them moving in, and now we've got like a solidified team avatar.
It's the new team avatar, and why is Naga in this episode?
I don't know. Doesn't really do anything.
I'm upset that Naga exists because she has nothing to do, and they, I'll use your word, solidify her as Korra's best friend. Korra said it herself.
Yeah.
And Naga doesn't
Well, now
do
she
anything.
has new friends.
Naga doesn't do anything. That's frustrating.
Another thing we get to see in this episode is Tarlok really, he's power hungry at this point. He's got power with Saikon, the new chief of police. He's got him in his pocket.
Yeah, they do a press conference, and Tarlok doesn't say a thing. He just stands there and menacingly grins as Saikon speaks.
But he's basically taken over the police force at this point.
He's running things.
Like, not officially, but in every other sense of the word.
He's the man behind the curtain right now.
And they do a good thing, or a thing I thought was cool. At one point, Tenzin and Korra confront him, and she's like, "I'm still the Avatar. You're not going to manipulate me." And he's like, "Oh, are you the Avatar? I thought the Avatar bent 4 elements. You can only bend 3, and you suck at the spiritual stuff, Korra." And
Just drags her through the mud, man.
Yeah, the thing I thought was really cool is the way they shot it. Not shot it because we're going to get into semantics of that, but the way it's framed, Tarlok is looking down at Korra. Like, obviously, there's a height difference, but the way that it's framed, it almost looks like Tarlok's looking straight down at Korra, like he's just so much higher above her. And I think that's to make you feel intimidated.
So that's a visual thing.
I think so. That's just what it made me feel.
That's what you felt.
I thought that was pretty cool.
I can see that. Yeah, that's fair.
But this kind of breaks Korra up a little bit.
Yeah, she doesn't like it. But she Tarlok says to come back on the task force, and she just says, "I'm not going to join your vanity project again," which I had problems with, I guess.
A little bit. I think we got past
first
it.
time we watched it, the second time I watched it, kind of ignored it. The third time I watched it, I was like, whatever. Are we on the 4th time now?
I think 3. We
3.
watched it 3.
Okay. So the first time I watched it, I don't remember her. I guess I just completely forgot this. I don't remember her leaving the task force. Like, why is she so hell-bent on hating Tarlok so much all of a sudden?
I think that whole Amon thing where he captured her and could have taken her bending.
Okay, so
kind
that
of
messed her up
freaked
against...
Yeah, so she's pretty scared about that at that point. And
But why would she go after Tarlok in that
sense? She had
sense?
a talk with Tenzin, and Tenzin's like, hey, he's manipulating you.
Okay.
That's just what I feel.
So that opened her eyes.
Yeah.
I guess I don't remember that conversation.
I don't
between
think
her
they
and Tenzin
actually
then.
had the conversation, but that's what I'm assuming because he was pretty much saying that anyway.
Okay, I don't remember that then. So that's...
No, it didn't happen, I'm saying. But he throughout the entire episode, he was trying to talk some sense into her. So I think that's what has happened.
Okay. I don't remember that happening. So
Shut your mouth.
So, anyways, no, I had a couple things at the very beginning of the episode. The Equalist break out of the jail and the new Team Avatar. I just run across them and then try to stop them.
Well, before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit more about Tarlok and Korra because he does say that you can only bend 3 different ones, so you're not really the Avatar. She can bend 3 different elements.
Yeah.
Like, come on, that's good enough. I mean, I don't.
It's
I
more
don't
than
understand.
Tarlok can bend.
Yeah. Well.
Hey.
But yeah, I don't understand the problem. Like, she's still the Avatar. No matter, she can still bend 2 more. Than you. Like, come on, Tarlok.
Well, the thing we're gonna get to later is it's still only one.
I don't know.
Sub-bending is what that's called.
But I don't think that this. I think this is an entirely different thing.
You think so?
Yeah,
we'll get into it later.
Yeah, we will.
We'll dive
what
into
were
that
you
a
saying
bit.
with the?
Okay,
yeah.
so they're
doing a crackdown on all of the like the equalists, and not even the equalists. Just there's a curfew on all non-benders.
Well, I'm talking about the chase scene right now.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just
leads
setting.
to that.
I'm no, because I'm setting it up because this is already taken in effect.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole entire part, that Tarlok's really cracked down on non-benders because he's lumping all the non-benders in with the radical extremists.
It's a race war.
Equalists.
It's a race war, and the councilman is on the side of the non-benders.
No, the
Or
benders.
No, benders. My bad.
Yes.
I
So
messed that up.
what they've done is they've taken parts of the city or the non-benders, and there's a curfew on them. They're not allowed to be out, and they've taken places where there's a lot of non-benders and cut off the power at night, which is ridiculous.
So they've set this up, and they do a really cool thing. Right now, the two main guys, the face of both organizations, you have Tarlok's for the benders, and
Yes.
then Amon against the benders. And so you have the non-benders against the benders. Like, they pitted each other against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Or pitted them, both demographics, against each other. And then Korra's kind of stuck in the middle. And she's not stuck in the middle, really, until this point in time when the civilians say, hey, you're our avatar, too. Help us. And then she's like, I got to help
Well, you
these
skip
guys.
past the chase, though.
But yeah, let's go back a little bit to the chase. They're chasing these equalist guys, and there's a little part in there that I want to dive into the animation here for a second. I love the way the ninjas are drawn because
I don't think it's that special.
I know you don't. It's sleek. Like, they disappear, like their shadows is how they move. I don't know. It's cool, whatever. But I want to talk about the police bending the metal barricades. That was cool.
Well, okay, but why don't we actually talk about the chase then?
I don't care about the chase.
For a second.
I just want to talk about the ninjas.
Yeah. Okay, so, yeah, there's your ninjas or whatever. There's a couple times that I had a problem, especially when they're, like, bending together. Bolin and Korra at one time have to bend Earth at the same time. But it's not like they did it like Korra and Aang when they would do that together in Avatar The Last Airbender.
Katara and Aang?
Oh, yes, that's what I meant. Katara and Aang, they didn't need to be exactly precise. They were just sort of working with each other.
That was going to be my defense, but you've already argued against
No,
it.
no,
Never mind.
Korra and Bolin have to create a ramp that they to ramp Asami's dad's car over, and they both do the exact same ramp side by side for the wheels. And there's no how would they have talked together?
I don't know.
Or how would they have figured that out?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't have an answer for that, Caleb. Sorry if that doesn't make for good podcasting.
It doesn't, but that's fine.
No, my defense was definitely going to be because they work on a team together, and so maybe they have like their mentalities are kind of similar. Just like when you had Toph and Aang working side by side, and they had they're not.
But I mean, it's not precise.
No,
like this is like if this is even off, the card does like a flip in the air.
No, I'm with you. I get it. No,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So let's get to the actual equalists. And not the equalists, the non-benders, because their demands are pretty reasonable.
Non-benders?
Yeah, just the non-benders. They're like, "Hey, turn our power back on. It's cold." Like, I don't see that. That's not a big deal, Tarlok.
So they're outside. They're huddled in a circle, and I think it's because he hates the non-benders right now, and he's trying to pull out anybody that can be part of Amon's group.
Yeah,
and so
which I get it.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Korra's dragged into that. And they say, hey, help us, you're our avatar too. And she's like, well, I'll try. And then so Tarlok says, for disobeying us, I'm going to put you all in jail. So he has this cool thing with the metal barricades. They break down the legs, and they pull apart the beam that goes across, and they wrap up all of the people in circles, and then they earthbend the ground up, and they have like little sections of the civilians that were out there locked up. And Katara just pulls them all down, but that was pretty neat how they broke the barricades across.
Yeah, it's really. And you brought up a couple times about how did you say Katara that time?
Did I say Katara?
I think you did.
I might have.
How Korra was able to just negate their bending
because they're picking up these huge rocks. And your argument was
we're not going to talk about Star Wars. That's where my argument stemmed from. But I don't want to talk about it on the podcast.
I forget where your argument stemmed from. But your argument
Count
was
Dooku and
that
Yoda.
Whatever. That it was pretty easy to just
what is happening? I'm talking about Star Wars. You don't even care.
But mind flip. Yeah. No, you see that somebody's picking something up. It's easier to push it down than it is to pick something up.
because gravity.
Because gravity. But I was pretty amazed by that she could negate somebody's bending like that. I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So after this happened, Tarlok is like, well, you don't get to do that. I'm going to like throw your friends in jail because they're non-benders, or at least Asami.
Asami. And she goes, well, what I would have liked for in the little animation bit, if she would have grabbed, or he would have grabbed her other hand with the equalist gauntlet on it and showed the gauntlet and said, hey, listen, not only are you a non-bender out past your curfew, but your father's a known equalist ally.
He did say that.
He did say that.
Yes.
And he says, I would like for him to also say, also, you're wearing equalist garb.
I think that you're wanting a little bit too much.
No, I think
he's going to arrest her anyway.
No, if all good things come in threes, and that's good. That's three.
That's
good.
not true.
That's 3 good points. All good things come in threes.
That's not.
It
true.
is true. It is. Why do you think trilogies are so popular? And the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, the 3 Musketeers, the 3 blind mice.
Oh yeah. Then how do you explain Indiana Jones? There's 4 of them.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Is there 4 of them?
Yes, there are.
Oh yeah. What's that 4th one called, Caleb?
The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
That doesn't exist.
What are you talking
No.
about? It totally
No,
does. I saw
it. Doesn't.
I've seen it many a time.
It doesn't.
I have it.
It doesn't.
On Blu-ray.
I don't believe you. You have it on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Why
It's
would
like
you
a-
do that?
I don't know. It's like a what are you talking about?
No,
You like
I
it.
like it. What am I doing?
It's got like a booklet with it where it has like some artwork and stuff like that.
That's
some
pretty
facts.
cool.
It's
I
pretty
got a comic book when I bought The Dark Knight Rises.
cool. No, they're completely unrelated to what we're talking about.
Okay, so this I wanted to point out in this scene, Tarlok is by far my favorite voice actor.
Yeah, he's really good.
Obviously, Tarlok's not the voice actor's name, but the
What
voice
is his
actor
name?
for Tarlok is my favorite voice actor.
Tarlok himself.
It actually fits his voice. When I said when I first watched the show, what's her name? Who voices Korra?
Katie Dippold.
No, not at all.
It doesn't matter that much.
But whatever her name is, it was jarring to me. I didn't like it. It didn't feel like it fit.
I think it fits.
Mako and Bolin felt weak for their physical.
I think Bolin's pretty good.
No, for their physicality, their voice felt weak.
What are you talking
Asami, I don't like in general, so I don't care about her. But like other characters, Daniel Day Kim. Every time I picture Daniel Day Kim,
Well, yeah, that's a little different.
They gave him a
thing,
very pudgy character. I know what Daniel Day Kim looks like, but Tenzin, I guess Tenzin's all right with J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
But I love J.K. Simmons. That's why I'm defending that because whatever. But Tarlok's my favorite for sure, as a voice, not as a character. He's scum as a character.
No.
But anyways, so that's my point with Tarlok. On to whatever you were going to say. Did I interrupt you?
No, absolutely.
You were not
not.
going to make any points.
No, I wasn't.
Good.
So yeah, they do arrest Asami, and I think they take Mako and
Bolin too, because he says you're not going to take my friends, and
Yeah.
then so he goes, "You're not gonna do that." Sir.
So we get like a little throwaway scene where Tenzin goes with Korra down to the police station. I guess it's not really throwaway, but
Nothing comes
and
of it.
they're like talking with Saikon, the new police. Is it Saikon?
it's Saikon, yes.
Okay, Saikon, the new police chief. And apparently Tenzin does not have any sway as a councilman, like he did with the chick.
Yes, well, that's because him and Lynn had a history, and
Lynn,
also
yes.
because Tarlok is now backing the entire police force. So they already have a councilman on their side.
That's
and
true.
It's always, like we always pointed out, it's always Tarlok.
And Tarlok gets his way anyway, because the other people always vote with
It was
him.
always Tarlok versus Tenzin, and the other guys with the swing votes.
And those stupid 3 benders that
I hate them. They're dumb.
They're so bad.
But
Just
anyways.
make some more characters. It's not that hard.
So then we get a cool scene where, what's her name? Korra breaks into the Tarlok's office at night. And Tarlok
Through a
is-
window.
Through the window, through the wall. To the water
No.
drip down his wall. And it does,
He just
folks.
ran the wall with the
There's a
wall.
whole wall of water, and we have a little theory.
Yeah. So
that.
we noticed this. There's like a secretary. Is that what he is?
Secretariat, the horse?
Yeah. No, that's secretary.
Oh, okay, secretary.
Tarlok's got like a secretary who he tells to go home because he knows he's going to get in a fight with Korra. But there's this giant wall of flowing water behind him.
It spans the whole wall, from side to side, from up top to bottom.
And so we were just wondering, how is the water being propelled?
Is it like a conveyor belt of water where it goes around
Does
and
he
around
have
and
a
around?
giant pool on the top of
And it just
wherever the
recirculates?
council hall?
Or does he have some guy up there constantly pushing and pulling the water?
Or not even up there, by his side,
Do you think,
the
Caleb,
secretary.
it's the secretary?
I think so.
And without doing any of
Yeah,
The-
without doing any of the hand motions or anything like that.
the karate stuff.
So that's our theory: is this is the most powerful bender
He's
that we've
so
ever
strong,
seen.
he just has to think about it.
Yeah, and at one point, the servant guy leaves, and the water's still flowing. So
I
either,
accept that.
either Tarlok's doing it himself, which would take way too much energy or focus. I think that this guy is doing it himself.
Now, I hear you science believers in the background just saying, hey, have you guys thought about it being, mechanically done or some stuff?
They don't have the technology for
No. People are bending that water. Don't you dare
This is a magical world with magical things.
Thank you, Caleb. Onwards.
I'm talking about this world.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, but Korra confronts Tarlok, and we get a pretty strong battle.
Yeah, it's pretty it starts out pretty even, I will say. Korra. I hadn't done it until this episode.
Until I said Katara.
Yeah, you messed me up. So Korra does a lot of her bending. What is she? Is she water bending? Earth? No, she's earth.
She earth bends.
It's earth versus water right now, and Tarlok has that whole wall of water, so he's doing his stuff, and he does this cool thing where he puts a sphere of water around him, and then he starts
punching ice,
or
shooting ice,
rapidly punching ice at her, and then it freezes as it exits the spear, and then she starts punching it. And it shatters on her fists.
Which I have a problem with this.
That's pretty cool, man. You might have a problem with it, but deny me that choreography is cool.
No, it's cool. She can bend water.
So,
right?
Yeah, no.
Okay, and then he starts overtaking her with ice, and he, cuts her up. She can bend water.
Okay, so what you're saying is, earlier when she bent the ground down against the earthbenders, what she could do is just bend that ice that he's bending at her? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Instead of getting cut on the face and the arms,
I get it.
Why don't you bend that water?
I get it.
Because you're a water bender.
That makes sense.
That's the problem I have with that.
She's a waterbender first, actually.
Yeah. Was she? Or did she come out bending all the different...
That would be awful.
No, not like immediately upon birth.
Just a baby bending.
Do you think that all her bending manifested at the same time?
I don't know.
It almost seemed like it did.
What would you do in
That
a
would be
scenario
pretty cool.
you were a child, say you're 2 years old, and you find out that you can manipulate an element? Would you try to figure out if you can manipulate other elements?
I don't think that...
Because in that world, the Avatar exists.
Well, she didn't, probably.
You don't think people were told her about stories of the Avatar?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Obviously the other Avatar wasn't alive when she was alive because she's the Avatar.
Yeah.
But you would hear stories of the Avatar, wouldn't you?
Maybe, but I'm just saying, even if she didn't, I don't think that...
So how did she come across knowing that she could earthbend and firebend?
I think it just happened. I think that's how it usually happens.
How does it just happen, though? You don't just accidentally firebend.
Yeah.
How?
Well, because she doesn't know how to do it.
Okay, so now I'm picturing a scene from Incredibles with Jack just not being able to control his powers.
Exactly.
So that's what you're picturing.
No, that's not what I was picturing, but...
It's an involuntary movement.
That makes my point.
Until you can control it.
If it was in Incredibles, then it's true.
But I'm saying it's involuntary until she can control it.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. I can get on board.
Or she just comes across it accidentally, just doing whatever.
I just don't get that at all.
I mean, I don't think you have to.
That's fine. Okay, and so it comes to blows with her and Tarlok, and her and Tarlok just go at it for a couple minutes, actually.
Uh-huh.
And then they're in the courtroom.
Yeah, Korra gets the upper hand and throws or bends the wall behind the water.
Yeah, and gets rid of all his water, so he can't bend anything now.
Well...
What, Caleb? You got something to tell us?
Well, he can still bend something.
Like what? Enlighten us, please.
Tarlok's a bloodbender, guys. Weird thing, though. Not a full moon.
It's a...
I think it was a waxing crescent.
It was a waxing crescent moon.
Maybe.
So not even close to a full moon.
No. Yeah, Korra's like, oh, what's going on? My blood's getting bent. It's not a full moon.
She's in mid-bend, too. She has fire coming out of her hands.
Yeah.
And he stops her.
So this is what I was saying. You said there's no unique abilities anymore. That's kind of a unique ability.
Okay, so this is your argument to that.
Yes.
Okay, but that's one out of, 5 that we've seen so far?
That's fine.
Lightning bending, metal bending,
that's
chi blocking.
Maybe there's new and unique abilities.
You think there's, like we've talked about earlier off the show, how people have evolved and maybe crossbred and maybe create a new... that'd be kind of neat.
Maybe the only reason those abilities were unique is because they were the ones inventing them.
I can get on board with that.
And then people can just learn it.
I can get on board with that.
Exactly.
I'm not happy about it, but I can get on board.
So, yeah, things are looking pretty grim for our old Avatar. Or our young Avatar, the new one.
Yeah.
Because Tarlok ties her up and throws her in a van.
Yeah, and takes her somewhere. So now we are left with a cliffhanger question.
But this... Okay, but this is... Okay, Yes.
You ruined the ending.
Or
for
where
me.
is Korra going? We can do it again.
You ruined it.
What I was
for
going
me.
to say is this is the first time we've seen Tarlok not composed, sort of like out of his element. Like he's not being able to manipulate anything. He's like his hair is down. He's all disheveled. I thought it was a pretty cool moment for him because Korra had him. She had him dead to rights, really.
Had him on the ropes.
Until he's like, well, maybe I'll reveal that I can bend blood, not on a full moon.
And at that point, what does he have to lose to just reveal to Korra if he can overpower with bloodbending? Because he knows he can. I mean, she doesn't. She is at a disadvantage here. She doesn't know that he can bloodbend.
Yeah,
And
I think the only
also,
problem...
if she would have known, it's not a full moon, so she wouldn't have been like, "Hey, it's not a full moon. You can't use that power against me." So, and in his mind,
No, she did. She said it.
No, I'm saying like
Oh.
if she would have known that beforehand when they went to the fight that it wasn't a full moon. Obviously, she probably knew that. And I've missed my point entirely. I don't know what it is, but aside from this, so he knows that he can bloodbend, and she doesn't.
Maybe he had to wear her down first.
But do you think he was going to come out with that? Do you think he was going to?
No.
Do you think
He was
gonna,
definitely saving it.
Yeah, and then so my point is that he just shows that to her and says, like he's got nobody else around, so she's the only one that knows. So in his mind, he can outdo her with bloodbending alone, take her by surprise, and then put her away somewhere.
Yes, but he didn't want to do that because now this is going to raise questions.
Like, where's the Avatar?
You got Tenzin. Well, you got Tenzin, and then and the media because Korra's a figure now.
And
Korra's a public figure.
you got Tenzin.
So she didn't want he didn't want to do this, but it was a last resort because Korra she had him down for the count.
He's about to beat his butt.
Yeah,
That's all I've got. I guess.
yeah. I think we should move on to some trivia.
Oh no, the final shot with the moon and stuff like that.
I don't care about that.
Okay. Screw me, I guess.
There's a moon.
And
it's
it
not a
shows
full-
that it's
not
not
a full
full.
one.
That's cool.
Okay, reading left to right, Asami's police scanner reads from 1 to 12. Well, that's a stupid piece of trivia.
Is that really what it says?
Well, yeah, it's in Japanese numerals, but
Okay.
I mean,
I don't
come
get it,
on.
I guess.
This is the first time that a character is seen bleeding in The Legend of Korra. This is when Korra is cut by a few icicles fired at Tarlok. This is the third time a character has bled in the Avatar franchise. Was she bleeding?
She got cut in the side.
Yeah, but that didn't look like bleeding to me.
Okay, so you're talking about you want like blood coming out of the wound. You don't just want like a red
'cause
wound.
It didn't look like it had any depth to them.
That's what
it
you
looked
want
like
to
they were scrapes.
differentiate between bleeding.
Yeah, so I don't know about this. Whoever's
You want the blood to actively escape the wound.
yes, which is what bleeding is.
Exactly.
Tarlok and Korra's duel at City Hall bears similarities.
No, it doesn't.
To the encounter between Avatar Roku and Fire Lord Sozin when Roku discovered Sozin's Earth Kingdom colonies in the Avatar and the Fire Lord.
Actually, I can accept that. That's fine.
In both cases, the Avatar arrived at a government building to confront a politician from their own nation and previous actions against a people they held power over. In both cases, the politician struck first. They're stretching.
That's
I wouldn't say
that's
that.
thin, but I can take it.
I wouldn't say Sozin's a politician. He's the Fire Lord.
Isn't that a political piece of...
He doesn't need
Is that political power, or is that like...
He doesn't need politics. He's just the monarch.
It's monarch.
He's a ruler.
It's a monarchy.
Would you
It's
say
not
the Queen
politics.
the Queen of England is a politician? I wouldn't. So far,
I didn't
not
know
liking
how
the
it was
trivia.
set up. So how about you?
Well, I wasn't talking.
Not be
I was talking
a dick.
to. No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the person who wrote this piece of trivia.
Take that, person who wrote the trivia. It's anonymous. How do you know who wrote it?
I was speaking anonymously.
Do you think that...
to whoever it may concern?
To whom it may concern.
Do you think the Queen is a politician? That's my question. So far, this trivia is awful.
But she's still involved in politics as the queen.
Not really. Politics is like talking to people. Okay, yeah. Korra declines Tarlok's offer to rejoin his task force by dismissing it as nothing more than a vanity project. This was the same reason used by Colonel Shinu in the Blue Spirit when he refused to supply Zhao with the Yuyan archers in his quest to find the Avatar. I think that they're just drawing similarities to Avatar because it's there. And I don't know if I go along with that.
Yeah, I wish the trivia was better because it's
terrible
all the trivia
trivia
you've gotten is just parallels from a previous show. I want trivia on the show as a standalone show.
This is crazy. This episode has the lowest viewership of book 1.
It wasn't good, so
Really? You didn't like this episode?
Remember, Caleb, this is the third time we've watched this episode and tried to record this.
That's fine.
Not the third time we tried to record this, by the way.
I mean, the last time when we tried to record it before, it was very late.
It's very late now.
Well, yeah, but we got 10 minutes in when it was like 11:30.
That's fair, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll accept that.
Tarlok has a petroglyph depicting Tui and Law encircling each other on the stone in the waterfall behind his office.
The spearfish.
Is that what that was?
I want to get that tattoo.
Do you?
Of Twee and Law.
I wouldn't.
Why not?
That's a bad investment, first of all.
It's not an investment.
I mean, kind of.
What would
You're spending your money.
So? Doesn't mean it has to be an investment.
Yeah, you're not going to like it.
I will.
Not in 50 years.
I don't give a crap.
That's a bad investment.
I'll be dead in like 10 years.
That's a bad investment in your time.
I think if we're looking at like zodiac signs, it fits with my zodiac sign.
Does it? Pisces?
Wow, just give it up to everybody what I am, Caleb.
Well, I mean,
Great.
I figured it out.
Now they can tell my zodiac stuff. And get at my weaknesses.
You'll be good with a Sagittarius. Very
Really?
compatible. I don't know, Harley.
I'm making this up.
Guys, thanks for listening. If you are listening, which I assume if you're hearing
If
this,
you haven't stopped listening since the beginning of this podcast,
if you're listening, we're experiencing a slight viewer drop off because of Korra, which I do blame Asami for. So thank you very much for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, that's boysintheiceberg@gmail.com. And check us out at boysintheberg on Twitter. I guess we'll see you here next week.
Bye.